So, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to the greenhouse. I was going to head down to the allotment today, but it's, as you can hear, windy and wet weather, so unfortunately I've not been able to get down there. So I'm back in here planting seeds and adding some extra little shelves, and I'll just show you what I mean by the extra shelves. So this is the space where that next one is going to go. It's going to be the same, roughly the same length as the other one, and obviously the same width because it's going to take the same trays. It's worth noting as well that those can actually take one of the longer trays sideways, but obviously take two of them rather than take four. So I've measured out the piece of wood that I want and put some brackets on the end. This one is just going to sit up here to start with, and we're going to start building the frame off of that. If I can remember where I've put my pot of screws, there they are. Obviously you've got to be a bit careful when you're doing it in there because there's plants everywhere already. I'm going to start at this end and line it up with the other one. So that's one. We'll do the other end first, line that up. So because it's not new wood, it is slightly bowed, but this does help to straighten it out by having the three brackets. Because then that one can be lifted or pushed down and screwed in. Okay, so that is the first bar in place, and again it's nice and solid on there. So I'm going to get cutting the other lengths and then get them put on as well. Right, so that bit's all screwed up. What I have done as well is one of the little edge pieces I've screwed onto the previous one here. The wood is warped slightly, which does mean I'm going to have to use the corner braces just to try and force it down into the right shape as well. Obviously I've got to be really careful that I don't split that wood, especially as it's not brand new wood. It is aged wood, so it's a bit more delicate than normal. Right, so the next plan is to get the support on this side, which I am going to get doing now. Right, so let's get those bits up. What I have done is I've put one angle piece on on the side part that comes on here, and I've put an angle piece on either end of the part that sits on the front, just because it makes it easier to screw the bits together without having to try and hold them up into the air at the same time. So let's get this piece in first. So the screw I'm just pushing in tightly into the wood to start with. I could do with an extra pair of hands really, but there we go, that's that one in. And now we've got the front part to go in as well. So this will make it all into that square, well, that rectangular shape. So you may have noticed the slight mistake that I made when I first put the bracket pieces on the long piece. They need to have been down slightly to fit on, so I've moved those. Okay, and we'll just get those bits screwed in. As you can see, it's a fairly tight fit, and actually it holds itself up without being screwed in. Obviously it's not going to once there's weight added to it. So one bracket in. Horrible squeaky noise, but there we go, that's done. So that is that in place. What I am going to do is I'm going to add another slat to go across here, just to add a little bit of extra strength, and then we'll look at getting the hanging sections done as well. So there we go. The next bit to go on is the middle brace. As you can see on the back of that, I've just got two flat, I think they're called spacers, I think they get called. These two metal plates, which are just going to be screwed underneath, just to hold this between the two separate beams. And again, this will help to pull the design nice and tight and make it a solid structure. And there we go. So that's the overall structure done. As you can see, it's a little, particularly with this corner, is a bit bouncy. So I'm going to copy what I've done on my previous one and have some of these little tensioning bits of string. So I'm going to go and get the bits for that and we'll get started. So I have actually somewhat changed my mind about what I was going to do on this part of the design. Because this wood was bowing slightly, I'm going to put in almost like a wooden brace that's going to come up here. And that's going to be bracketed in on here and up there, and it's just going to stop the whole structure from moving at all. So I'm going to get that done and we'll look at how solid it is. So there we go, that is now solid in that corner. I think what I am going to still do is add the little cable support that I've done in that corner, in this corner here, just to kind of mirror what's gone on that side. So all I was using for that is two of these little metal hooks, which I just screw in by hand. And then we're going to screw one by hand, and then drop it into can be a bit difficult to get started, but once they actually connect, they're pretty easy to get in. Okay, and all we need alongside of that is some twine. I'm using my twine in a tin, cut off a decent length, and all I'm going to do is tie it initially around the shank of the little hook. That's just going to be a double knot on that. Hold it nice and tight. And I'm then just going to keep feeding through the bottom, through top. Just keep it nice and tight. Keep it the same tightness as that one. So what we also don't want to do is do it so tight that the tension comes off of this side. So we want them both to have some tightness to them. And then all I'm going to do is tie up there, a couple of knots, just to keep that held in. And there we go. That's the shelf completed and nice and solid. And then what we can do, with our little trays like that, they all just slide on. And there we go. It's extra growing space. And for me, that is going to be for all my trays of flowers rather than my veggies. That may change later in the year, depending on what I'm growing, but at the moment, that's all going to be flower growing space. So that is going to be it for this video. So thank you for watching. Take care. Happy allotmenting.